Have you ever pondered over the intricate relation between a single share of stock and a larger business entity? Or how these shares shuffle hands in the bustling virtual marketplace we know as the stock exchange? If so, you're in the right place. A share of stock isn't merely a piece of paper or a digital entry in your brokerage account. It's a slice of ownership in a company. Think of it as a tiny piece of a giant pie. Each slice, each share, represents a proportional stake in the company's assets and earnings. The more shares you hold, the larger your slice of the pie, and thus, the greater your claim on the company's assets and earnings. Now, when a company decides it wants to raise funds, it might choose to sell these slices of the pie to the public. This process is known as an initial public offering, or IPO. In an IPO, a company determines the number of shares it wants to sell, and an investment bank helps it set the initial price per share. But how do these shares end up in the hands of investors like you and me? Enter the stock exchange. Think of it as a virtual marketplace where buyers meet sellers. Buyers bid a certain price for a stock, and sellers ask for a certain price. When these two prices match, a trade occurs, and ownership of the shares changes hands. But how do we know what price to pay for a share of stock? This is where the concept of share price calculation comes into play. The most common method is to use earnings figures and earnings multiples. In simple terms, earnings refer to the company's profits, and the earnings multiple is a factor that investors are willing to pay for each dollar of earnings. For example, if a company has earnings per share of $1 and the earnings multiple is 20, the share price would be $20. So there you have it. A share of stock is a slice of a larger business pie. Companies sell these slices to the public through an IPO, setting an initial price with the help of an investment bank. These shares are then bought and sold on the stock exchange, with prices determined by earnings figures and earnings multiples. So the next time you buy or sell a share, remember, you're not just trading pieces of paper or digital entries. You're buying or selling a piece of a business, a slice of a pie that could grow bigger with each passing year.